Let's talk about silence. There's so much noise going on around us right now, and we tend to focus on all of the distractions and we forget to consider the silence. And it can have huge impacts on our relationships, on our organizations, on our productivity and profitability. And there are different kinds of silence. So there's the silence that connects us. This is when we spend moments in honor of, in memory of, or companionable silence when we're on a long car ride or co-working. And then there's the silence that separates us. And this happens most often in conflict. And it's when we shut down, when we turn off. And when we think about conflict, so often we think about the noise of conflict when we are active in that engagement. And I think it can be argued that the silence in conflict, when we turn off and we're just done, that can be worse. That can be more damaging. And then there's the silence that confuses us. And this is what I would call it an information vacuum. It's when leadership is silent in the face of rumors or crisis. And it's in those moments when their people become confused and afraid, and they start to make things up in their minds, and it destroys trust. And the last silence is when we're being silenced, which is different than the silence itself. When we don't speak, often we can do that to ourselves. We can silence ourselves, and that can come from insecurity and fear, or even apathy. That why bother? Why do I even care anymore to speak up? And then we can be silenced by people around us, by systems that are put in place that don't make it safe for us to step out and speak. It can be being talked over or ignored or completely dismissed. And all of these silences have an impact on our relationships and our organizations. I spend a lot of time working with organizations to develop high-performing teams. And top of the list of the things that we work on is communication. And silence is a form of communication. And if you don't know how it's being used, and if you're not intentional in the ways that it is permitted to be used in your organizations and your teams, it can be really destructive. So I challenge you to take the time to think about the silence around you. Is it connecting you? Is it separating you? Is it leaving people confused? And where are people being silenced? And what are you going to do about it? If you don't know where to begin, give us a call. Blue Stereo might be able to help.